Hello and welcome to the monthly Philmont chat for the Philmont Trek Talk group in Facebook. What month is it? It's June, right? June 2022. That means that there are already crews on the trail. I think the first crews come off the trail like in a day or two. The first 7-day treks that went on day one will be coming off the trail the next day or two. So we're into it, folks. We are knee deep into Philmont summer trek season, and a big clue to that you can see in the bottom right. You see Darrel wearing his green Philmont staff shirt with his green Philmont staff badge, which of course indicates he is out there. He doesn't work at the ranch in the off season. He's there for a couple weeks every summer. That means it's trek season when you see Darrel in his green shirt. So, hi, I'm Jeff. I'll be your tour guide. I am the skipper of Sea Scout Ship 4019 in Burlington, North Carolina, and the proprietor of GearReport.com and the new Camping Gear Report YouTube channel, and one of the members of the Philmont Trek Talk group on Facebook. Go check out that group if you're finding this elsewhere. So let's go this way, and we'll hit Rob and Sal and come down through. If Darrel's back, he can introduce himself. If not, Scott could do
it. Rob Smith. I am with Troop and Crew 85 in O'Fallon, Illinois, and I am the High Adventure Chair for the Troop and the Committee Chair for the Crew. And I deal with highadventurescouting.com. That's it.
Okay. Over to me, Sal Porto, Assistant Scout Master, Troop 212, Lutz, Florida, owner, operator of Suncoast Wilderness First Aid. I'll be out at Philmont joining Darrel in about 5 days. So, Crew 620 M5. So, if you're out there, look for us. And next, Darrel's back. There we are. There's Suncoast Wilderness First Aid.
All right. Yeah, I'm slow, but I'm trying to keep up.
That's good. Okay. Maybe Darrel, we like slow, but it's okay. We'll let you slide. Okay, Darrel, your turn.
Oh, I'm first?
Yeah.
Anyways, Darrel Tadsen, sometimes known as Mr. T. Trekked a few times in Philmont, served on staff on a volunteer basis a few times. And as was mentioned earlier, I'm currently here right now. And I can answer questions or comments on how the ranch is functioning and operating right now and what you can or should be prepared for if you're arriving relatively soon.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear some of that fresh information that you have that the rest of us don't have.
I stepped out. I was going to see if I could find my hosts here at the B&B and introduce them.
Oh, yeah. Well, if maybe if we get into something and you want to step out and find them, I think that'd be an interesting. I was not even aware that facility existed, which now I'm going to have to go check. The article that I have on Gear Report for what to do in Cimarron has a section on lodging. I need to make sure that facility, that Airbnb, is actually listed there. And if not, then when the show's over, get me the contact information and I'll add it to that article.
GrandNationalBnB.com.
All right. Well, I'll definitely check that out and see if it's on there. And if not, I'll add it. So normally we put Darrel on the spot and say, Mr. T, we need an agenda. We didn't do it this month. And he didn't just step up and provide one because obviously he's a little busy since he's already at the ranch. So we're going to freeform this time. And I think it's going to be interesting for me at least because I have spent half the day yesterday, most of the day today, going through my backpack, getting it ready so I can toss it all in the car tomorrow morning and drive from North Carolina to Ohio. Where am I pointing? There we go. North Carolina to Ohio to meet the crew that had the poor judgment to invite me to be a part of their trek for the summer.
Yeah. So, what's their number? I got to call.
Yeah. So you said you're 620 something. What is it?
620 M5.
M5. So I will be 617 S3. And I've got to think of a good S. I'm going to get on the train in Ohio, or actually it's just across the border in Kentucky, and then we'll ride to Chicago, and then we'll have a layover, and then we'll get on another train and ride to Raton. I think that's going to be like a full day for that Chicago to Raton. We're going to have plenty of time. One of the things I'm going to challenge them to do is come up with a bunch of good S names, so when they get to a porch talk and they say, hey, who's the crew leader and what's your crew number? They can say 617 Sassafras 4, whatever, something with an S. If it's sexy, I think we're going to reject that one. That doesn't seem scout-like. But anything else?
It could be sassy.
It could be sassy superfluous.
4.
Whatever. We're going to have a whole day on the train that I think we can work through different options. So anyhow, that I'll tell you. So that's where I am. I'm almost completely packed. In the green room before the show started, I was sharing with the guys that I don't think I've set my tent up, my Philmont tent. I don't think I've set up since I put it away in base camp last year. Oh, look at that. The troublemaker has arrived. I mean, Andy's here. Welcome.
The prodigal son has come home.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dark. He's in dark mode.
It needs to be brighter. I'll do that later.
He's in the dark. He's on the dark side.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Darrel, there's somebody behind you.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Greetings. All right, so let me make Darrel's screen bigger. This may be a multi-step process. Bear with me. All right, that makes me bigger. Now, if I drag Darrel up there, there we go. It switched us. All right, you can do your introductions there.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm here in Cimarron at the Grand National Bed and Breakfast. Standing behind me are my hosts, Ron and Candy Dyer. And if you have the opportunity to be out here in the area, I highly recommend this establishment for you to stay at. And if you folks want to make any comments, go for it.
We'd love to have you. You can find us on our website, Grand National B&B. You have to spell out the and, bnb.com.
That doesn't sound like a Cimarron accent to me.
No, it's actually a Texas accent.
It's a very Texas accent.
Scott O'Mary down here in the bottom would love that one. He's whereabouts in Texas are you, Scott?
I am in Plano, Texas.
All right.
Outside of Dallas.
There it is.
Very cool.
Oh, looks nice.
So I would click around the website, but the way this computer is set up, I've got it on the other monitor that's super slow. It just popped up on my screen, so that's as good as it gets. GrandNationalBnB.com. But I'll tell you what I'll do. If I get the mouse in the right spot here, I'm going to copy it and paste that in the chat. So anyone who's out there is welcome to follow up on that and check it out. And I'd like to say that when I get into town on Friday, that maybe I could stop by and check the place out. But I think they have us on such a tight schedule. I'm not even sure how we're going to get everything done. Like, I'm so used to getting there a day early. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but every time I've been to Philmont, we get there a day ahead of time. So we have a little time to decompress and wander around base camp and maybe see some things in town. This time we're not even getting to Raton until like 10:30 in the morning on Friday. And then we hit the trail Saturday morning. So I think we're going to be in the time frame.
Yes, you will.
But if we have a few minutes and stop for food in that St. James area, I'll sneak around back and say hi.
See us. Come see us. And look us up. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it's good to see you. And thanks for sharing. Darrel, something that I'm a huge fan of is anything we can do to promote the businesses in town because they're so critical to the ranch and get a lot of revenue from folks coming out to Philmont. So
exactly, and that's part of the reason I'm staying here and They just acquired this property and opened it. Actually, when I made my reservation, I was their very first customer.
Wow.
They have 4 rooms in the main house, and then they have 2 small cottages outside that are 2-bedroom that can hold up anywhere from 6 to 8 people.
Nice.
It's cool.
All right.
Hey,
So-
Jeff, before we get too further along, maybe Andy and I could finish the introductions.
Oh, geez. Well,
Yeah.
I suppose you could.
ask your
If
crew.
we
Ask
want to.
I know it's been a few months since I've been on the call or anything like that.
Who are you again?
Some people may
Start
not
from the
know who I
beginning.
am, or Andy. I don't know.
you-
I got a
you
funny
need to ask
story
your
about
crew
you in a
leader.
minute anyway.
Okay.
But we're working around clockwise. So, Andy, why don't you go and then you can jump past me over to Scott.
Ask your crew leader.
My name is Scott O'Mary. I am from Plano, Texas. I haven't been on the call in a long time.
So,
Yeah.
Nice. Somebody's
so-
been paying attention.
So Scott, how was base camp? How was summer camp, Scott?
It was great.
Okay.
Loved it.
Will the real Scott O'Malley please stand up, right?
Andy Parrish, Troop 152, Westfield, Indiana. I'm the High Adventure Chair and Philmont veteran, an outdoor enthusiast of all kinds. So,
And YouTube sensation.
and I've got a small YouTube channel called Andy Parrish Outdoors, where I do have an entire playlist dedicated to nothing but Philmont. So, there's that.
Awesome.
Oh, and your video's playing in the background. I can't make it stop. There we go. I was like, I see his mouth moving. I hear his voice saying something else. And yeah, it was, you were on the other screen too. That was freaky.
Wow.
Recorded Andy, live Andy, both talking at the same time. It was like, I don't even know what's going on here.
You need to go watch his videos because they're awesome.
Right.
You
Yeah.
just play those on another monitor
That's
on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have those looping all the time. I'm trying to bump your numbers up.
That's
Yeah.
who's doing that.
Well, it wasn't Scott, apparently, because he hadn't been around. But he's here now.
Take it away, Scott.
Ready? I am the real Scott O'Mary in beautiful, very hot Plano, Texas.
Ah.
To you.
Didn't know that.
It is, yes. And I am about to enter my 8th year as Scoutmaster at Troop 259. And Jeff's got to cut away to the Facebook page there, but he didn't. And I am unfortunately not going to Philmont this summer. I am not going to be able to go, but I am leaving in 2 weeks to complete my Grand Slam High Adventure Award at Sea Base. So I'm looking forward to that. And when we get back, we will be hot and heavy prepping for Philmont 2023.
Awesome.
Well, this is interesting. So in the Facebook group, I can see that people are making comments. See, Royce and Andy left comments there, and I do not see them. Let me click over here and see if, what am I missing? Our tool here is supposed to show those to me. All except Facebook profile. Oh,
I'm not
how do I
seeing.
get all, including the Facebook? I don't know how to make it show all of them.
I'm
all
not
right.
seeing any in the chat either.
Well, I'm going to, in the chat within this Melon app streaming service, it shows everything but Facebook, apparently. So I'll just have to reference comments from the other screen as I see them. The bike version is actually lighter. I don't know what that was referring to because I missed it. Nemo Dagger 2 bike. Okay, so there we go. So that tent is a tent recommendation, actually. And he says he's actually hiking at the moment. That's pretty good. I think we'll have a lot of hiking going on among group members here shortly. I'm kind of excited about that. So, oops, I clicked the wrong thing over there. I've been trying to get to what I was going to mention was we seem to have an identity crisis with who is the real Scott. And I'm going to go ahead and confess right now, because I may not confess it on the trail. The tag that I will wear, the blue Philmont Trek Talk tag that I will have hanging from my backpack on the trail, it says Scott on the back because Darrel gave me that one at Philmont last year to send to Scott. I got home and immediately misplaced it. I found it a couple months ago, but Darrel had just made a new one and sent it to Scott. So it was just sitting here, and now I can't find mine. So I have Scott's tag on my backpack. So
I will be going in spirit with you to Philmont.
Yeah.
And it's another S for you for your crew.
Yeah. So I actually attempted to tape over Scott on the back with a piece of blue painter's tape that matches the color almost exactly, like this color blue tape here. And
so I guess
I don't have much hope that it's going to stay on very long.
So we can say Scott is going to tag along.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. So anyhow,
ask Rob about tags.
Yeah, I got a great story. I told the group that, but Darrel ran into my my crew. Well, I'm not on it, but my crew for my troop on the Amtrak on the way to Philmont, and only knew them because I bought them all tags with their names on them. He happened to see their tags, and
we were actually in the station at KC.
Oh, station. Okay, all right. Yeah, because you had a nice accommodation that nobody else had. You know, you had a sleeper car. So.
That's fancy.
All the riffraff had, regular seats
in the back.
They said it was packed with scouts, so it was kind of a cool thing. So, but it was funny that he just happened to be on the same train as our guys. So
that was pretty cool.
That
they're on the trail now. So
that train probably had about 125 scouts on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they appreciate the business too. All right, so I still haven't found that. Y'all are just gonna have to trust me because I'm scrolling on the other screen and it's loading so slowly that I may never find it. But anyhow, that was all based on the discussion. Does anyone happen to have one of those blue tags handy? Because mine is actually on my pack, which is packed and ready to go for tomorrow. But the question, and the one that what Rob was referencing was someone asked, hey, is there actually like any way to identify other group members when you're on the trail? And the answer was, well, yeah, we designated you wear a blue ribbon, and here's an example of one. Here it is. I found it. Let me go find.
Andy's got his.
Yeah. Andy's got his.
That is so cool. All right, let me show you something. If I can make it here, I'm gonna put me big on the screen here for a second.
That's Darrel big on the screen.
Oh, my light's too bright. Here we go. There, see that one? That says Andy. This is a piece of wood, and it says Philmont Trek Talk. So it's a copy of that other one, and it's not creepy at all that I have that with his name on it. I just want you to know that. Or one that has Scott's name on it, or one that has Rob's name on it, for that matter.
No, that's even creepier.
Yeah,
Jeff, as long as you don't have voodoo dolls laying around with their names on it.
Yeah. So Darrel, did you get those that I sent out to the ranch, Darrel?
Yes, I got them and delivered. A couple already. Haven't seen some of the other people yet.
Outstanding. So Sal will have one to pick up when he gets there. And there was one for Darrel. So,
yeah, I got Phillips and Ashley.
Awesome.
Two at the time. I haven't seen Shelley or David yet.
Good. All right. So let's see if we go back to the other screen. And if you guys have anything specific that you want to talk about, since we don't have a formal agenda, go ahead and speak up at any time. And otherwise, I'm just going to kind of ramble through stuff. This is the thread in the Philmont Trek Talk group that I was referring to. And did we establish a secret code or handshake to recognize other members of this group at Philmont? So if you scroll through here, you'll see that we do, like on mine, you can see the regular tag as well as just a little piece of blue ribbon that I hang from my hat. I always wear my hat with the big shade and the flap on the back to keep the sun off my neck, and that has a little blue ribbon, and my pack has the Philmont Trek Talk ribbon on it. So if you didn't order one of the fancy ones like Andy showed from Darrel, then just wear any kind of blue ribbon, kind of that, painter's tape blue, that color, and that will be sufficient. Put it on your pack if you're not in your pack, like a hat or whatever you're wearing at the time. If you have a little ribbon on it, you may go a couple days and not see one, or you may see several of them in a day. I don't know. I don't think we publicized it very well this year.
You can also wear a blue cape if you want, or something like that if you really want to stand out.
What about blue suede shoes?
On your
Blue
chest.
suede shoes, yes.
Yeah. Or you could be part of the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, you could total blue face
Total
paint.
blue, yeah.
That would
That would work.
That's what everybody, if it's your first time at Philmont, you have to do that. But if you're going back, you can just use a tag or something like that.
Yeah. I would like to be able to make this available. I'm just haven't figured out, the fulfillment and all of that, and so forth. So
You haven't fully assembled your sweatshop yet.
well, that and there's going to be some cost involved in how do I recoup some of that, and how do I Venmo and all this stuff. How do you keep it straight?
Yeah, I completely understand. That's why I haven't attempted anything like that. Okay.
I just got a text message from somebody who was here, Tammy Smith, from I believe up in Illinois, who says, "I'm watching, I'm jealous, and I wish I was going back."
Well, but you could be. I mean, it doesn't have to be this year, but the year's just barely getting started, right? So there's number one, there's still time, and go next year if you can't go this year.
Yeah, she said her husband and son just left for Northern Tier, and
wow!
And I blew somebody away at the Welcome Center today, and I walked up to the car and I said, "Welcome to Northern Tier," and and the driver said, "Oh my, whatever, we took a big major wrong turn."
Yeah, that's good. And I saw you don't have your water bottle handy, do you?
That means yes, he does.
Yes. I feel bad because we're maybe spoiling it a bit for people who will see it for the first time at the Welcome Center, but maybe it also gives them something to look for so they can more easily spot Darrel. What in the world was that?
I don't know. Somebody was really excited though.
If you're going to do other stuff in the background, just mute your microphone. It's all right if you do other stuff. You just don't need to hear it all. Okay, so I told you where I am as far as I start driving in the morning. Look at that. That is amazing. I've had a year to figure out something cool like that, and I haven't come up with anything. I feel terrible about that.
Okay, here's one for you. Either Scott or somebody told me a Dax bottle, cleaned it out, and put Gatorade in it.
Yeah.
One of our guys last year bought a fuel bottle at Apache Springs and decided to use that as a water bottle the rest of the time, and kind of freaked everybody out. So
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
That's nice.
that was the same kid at Northern Tier that threw actual gas on the fire, so while it was burning. So yeah.
Wow. So for folks getting ready to leave, I am not running a crew. I am a guest of a crew. I'm just going to show up. This is going to be weird. I'm going to meet my crew at the train stop, or actually, I think we're going to meet at the church where they have their scout meeting to get on the church bus, and that will take us to the train stop, which they warned me is not a train station, and literally also warned me that the train might not actually stop. It may just slow down. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Run
But,
fast. Run, Forrest, run.
yeah, yeah. But so that'll be a new one for me, having not met the crew until we show up to go. So it's going to be interesting if we have any, if they have any buyer's remorse after inviting me. They're stuck with me, but they're probably going to figure it out before we even get there. So
There's always those few cliffs that are around.
That's right.
that's a good point.
I tell people go missing all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my life insurance is paid up. And,
Well, Darrell probably can supply them with a very big duffel bag.
right, right. So, so I haven't had crew prep to do. I've just had personal preparations to make.
Just watch a couple of videos. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
suggest.
I can recommend a channel.
That's
So-
an interesting weed out process, though, to see if your fitness training has worked. Is you get to the train station and you have to sprint to catch it, and the ones that can't, well, you just don't get to go to Philmont. Then I guess I've not heard that way.
Yeah. So I heard a rumor that there are some not incredibly fast hikers on this crew. And I was like, whew, because I thought that I may need to fill in for someone on one of Darrel's crews, which are in the field now. You know, they got there already. And I actually went and did the bike thing. I did some workouts. And I went out and hiked around the neighborhood. But it's been like 4 or 5 things I've done in the last 2 weeks. So it could be interesting. You said, you know, good test to see if your fitness regime worked. I didn't really have a fitness regime, so we shall see. They may leave me along the side of the trail and keep going, but I'm gonna do my
is it
best.
going to be
not to
like?
hold them up.
Is it going to be like Divergent, where you have to run and catch the train and jump on? Is that?
It could be, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the train to Philmont. I've certainly taken the train with some scouts for like 4 hours before.
Yeah.
But I would imagine if I was on a train all day long, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would be wiped out by the time I got to Raton.
Yeah, who's been on the train? Because I've never done a train this long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the
Is there-
scoop, Darrell? Are
There's
you,
no trains
are you
from
wiped
Florida.
out when you get there? You need to recoup a day to recoup? What's
10 or 12 years I've done the train.
Wow.
but you're in a sleeper car.
Yeah, that's different, right?
The first number of years I was in the seat, and many of the passengers this year specifically mentioned to me those seats are very, very comfortable, and other than being on a train, I did not have a real problem sleeping. You know, it obviously isn't your bed. It's a good, I would say, 30 inches wide. It reclines to well beyond 45 degrees, and it has a leg like a recliner, holds up the back of your legs, so you know they're not just hanging in midair.
Wow.
But they're very comfortable. Breakfast on the Chief coming out of Kansas or coming out of Chicago, leaves about 2 in the afternoon, Kansas City about 10, and at 6 in the morning, I'm going to say it, the dining car is closed to the coach passengers. The sleepers, it's open, but the snack bar or the club car is open, and I can't figure out Amtrak. Last year, they would not take cash. So this year, I got all 56 kids debit cards. Guess what? The debit card machine was broke.
Oh no.
So I can't win. But anyways, no, it is a very comfortable ride, very relaxing. You're not wiped out. I don't have a worry about where the kids are going. You know, they're somewhat self-contained on the train. If the stops are like 2 minutes. So
Wow.
other than the Junta, which which is a crew change, and that's about 20 minutes. For those that are traveling this year, Jeff, the number 3 train from Chicago, has been running about an hour to 2 hours late. Today was 3.5 hours late, which means normally you're in about 10:30. They swing by and pick up a fast food lunch, and you normally hit the ranch between 12:30 and 1. The train crews today did not arrive till 3 o'clock, and as you were mentioning, if that's your first day, it is going to be very hectic doing the check-in process and headed for the trail the next day. The methodology at Philmont is they like to have you in camp for 24 hours before you leave to the trail, which means if you're in at 3 o'clock, you're probably going to get a 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon bus to the trailhead, which can make things very hectic because there's a lot of processing that the ranger does with you once you hit the trailhead. Navigation, Red Roof Inn. He demonstrates supper, how to set up a tent, bear bags, and all of this. And you're probably looking at supper at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and bed by, you're probably not going to bed till 9 o'clock or better.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a hectic day. So my recommendation to anyone listening or watching this is, if you are taking the train to Philmont, come in a day early.
Yeah. I certainly wish the crew that I was with would have set up to come in a day early, but
heck, I fly in and come in a day early.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. So Tammy made a comment on Facebook that I pasted in over here. Her crew never all been in the same place at the same time until they got on the train last year. So similar to what I'm experiencing here, I guess. Quite the experience. Lived all 4 stages: forming, storming, norming, and performing, all on the train apparently. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how this goes. And I have no idea how the crew that I'm joining, like if they've done a bunch of shakedowns and everything's nailed down, or if they're don't know what they're doing. No idea where on the spectrum they are. So,
and they'll probably, once they hit the trail, go through this process a couple of times, storming, norming, hey, we don't want to do this, we want to do that. And, that's kind of the neat part about Philmont and the way it is organized, and watching these young men work together, come together, execute a plan or come up with a plan, execute it, and begin to work as a real team. That's, I think for a lot of us here, 6 of us on this, that's really the joy that we get out of, being the adult advisor on the trek and watching these guys and gals, make responsible decisions.
Yeah. So for the folks who've been on the train, what should I have with me on the train? Like I know if I'm on an airplane, I'll have my little inflatable travel pillow.
Yep.
And honestly, that's it. Like on an airplane, I'll carry an empty water bottle through security and then fill it up in a water fountain. So I have water and my pillow. That's it. What else would I need? Like I'm going to be on the train for a day and a half.
So when we got on south of Chicago and we jumped on that route, they took all of our gear and they put it into kind of an empty section, one of the cars, and it was literally just stacked, like people's luggage stacked in there. So it may not be super accessible to get at your full bag while you're on the train. If you really wanted to go dig through that car, you probably could. But we kind of just prepped everybody to have a little, if we were summiting Baldy, so everybody had some kind of a day pack that they were going to use for that day. So put anything in that day pack for getting on the train. If you have a blanket, a pillow, whatever can make you more comfortable, some snacks, some things like that. The food car was open when we went pre-COVID. and then they had the snack car, but that, they're open during certain hours. So we wanted to make sure we had drinks and waters and stuff like that. So you could just hang out at your your seat,
Put
and
you up
then
here big, Rob.
and then a lot of people would go to the dining car,
that?
or they would go to the observation
That was
car,
it.
which is a kind of a place to
That
hang
was
out.
what it looked like.
Yeah,
And was
wherever-
there, and there was access to that, so you could go in and dig through it, or they're like, "No, that's bags. Don't go in there."
the way it was kind of worded to us was, don't expect to go in there, and I'm not
Got it.
sure that any of us ever did. So it was, whatever you need, get it now, and then you're going to go upstairs to your seat. So I'm not sure it was ever like a room that was locked or anything, but it was kind of just told to us, don't assume that you can get to this. So I'm pretty sure for security purposes, they don't want just a random person down digging in people's luggage. So maybe they did just lock it up.
The other thing, Jeff, certainly, water, pillow, if you want, earbuds or something like that to listen to music or whatever, to cut out or even cut out the general noise. But as Andy says, definitely some kind of blanket.
Okay.
3 o'clock in the morning, that car is 65 degrees. I mean, it is a refrigerator. And some snacks and maybe some toiletries, a small gym bag or something. You might want a toothbrush, your prescription drugs or whatever that you might carry. There are bathrooms, readily accessible.
So you guys are speaking from your experience from all points east. I know those crews in California, for example, will quite often take the train too, going eastbound. Is it a similar experience? Is it an overnight train there as well? Does anybody?
Right. The Southwest Chief is what they call it, train 3, westbound, train 4, eastbound. It's a 2.5-day trip from Chicago to LA. And the eastbound train coming from LA, its scheduled arrival is about 4:30 in the evening. So again, if you're coming in that direction, come in a day early. Because if you show up at 4 in the afternoon at the train station, you're really late. Philmont monitors the trains and will have buses available for you at the train station. So you don't need to call ahead or anything like that. Whoever is in charge of the group, the adult leader, the adult advisor, through the gateway should have put in the travel plans, and they watch those quite closely. So, they're not sending a bus for a train that's 3 hours late.
Right.
So they'll pick you up, back the yellow bus, throw your backpacks in the bag or in the back, climb aboard, and head to Philmont.
And it's what, about a 45-minute ride?
Yeah, between 45 minutes and an hour there. I noticed when we came in, there was bridge construction, and they had everything down to one lane, and it was backed up. Maybe 10-minute wait. But
There we go.
Jonathan Lewis arriving this Sunday. Thoughts on rain pants?
Yes.
Extremely hot and dry out here. There's a good picture of the train. We have not had rain since I've been here, but I would take them on the off chance that you might have rain, but also as double duty for long pants in the evening for maybe a little warmth. They should be fairly lightweight, compact, and if they keep rain out, they're going to keep the weather and the wind out, and you'll be a little more comfortable. That's my 2 cents on that one.
So someone asked that in the last day or so in the Facebook group, and most of the responses were just rain pants. You have to have them. And I take a little different approach of you have to have an effective rain system, like rain protection system. And if rain pants are part of that, then you absolutely need to have them. If your rain system doesn't include rain pants, then, as long as it's effective at keeping you from getting hypothermia when it starts downpouring, it may not be raining yet, but I've got to think every day that passes and it doesn't rain, that means that when it does start raining, it's probably really going to come down. Like it averages out most years. So if it's been dry for a while, when it starts raining, it's probably really going to start raining. I know last year I was on a 618. I'm on a 617 this year. I was on a 618 last year. We got almost halfway through the trek and the sky opened up and it didn't stop raining till we were back in base camp. Not like every
6 days worth.
afternoon. It was
6
day
days.
after day. It was crazy.
Yep, I was there. Yep, I'm like you, Mr. Jeff. If it works, I'm not the rain pant guy. I'm the rain kilt guy. So they work for me.
Well, I was addressing the specific question about rain pants. Yes,
I understand it. I understand.
Do it.
Well, right. His question was, do you need them? And I think the answer is it really depends on what you do for rain protection.
Yeah.
To keep from getting hypothermia when it rains, because it's probably going to rain at some point. And if you're at higher altitudes, it's going to be cold.
Yep.
So if you have a means of keeping your legs from freezing, maybe you don't need rain pants. Maybe you do. I know you got to figure out your rain system. I don't know. I use a poncho. I don't wear rain pants and I'm fine. But I've been doing that for decades. Some people don't like ponchos. So I wouldn't just grab a poncho because I wear one. I would get one and try it on some other trips. And if it works for you, great. Then maybe think about taking it on a trek. But otherwise,
that's the advantage of doing
your
shakedowns. I mean, that's kind of what they're for, to test your gear out.
So I'm going to be on team pants, I guess, is going to be. And it's solely from the standpoint of I'm cheap. And I go to other high adventures like Northern Tier where ponchos are a safety hazard. So I'm getting double duty by bringing a jacket and pants other than just a poncho specifically for Philmont, for example.
Yeah. That $20 poncho is a big investment.
Yeah, it is.
Well, but I mean, I say that in jest, but I'm sure for some people it is a challenge. So that does make sense for you to go multiple places, and a poncho won't work at others. Yes, Darrel.
Before I see we've been on about 45 minutes, there's a couple of things that, if you will, as a representative for Philmont that I'd like to cover with the group, whoever may be out here. It's what they're doing. I'm not going to get into the reasoning for it. It is what they're doing. They are requiring masks for any indoor activity. Standing in line for dining hall, going in for logistics, the opening advisors meeting when I think those have been there. There's an opening advisors meeting and that's inside. They're asking that masks be worn. Like I say, I'm not getting into the issues on all of that.
So I thought I saw a picture someone posted a day or two ago of a gathering at the infirmary shelter. They haven't moved that crew advisor. I thought it was purported to be a crew advisor meeting, and I know they used to hold them there at the infirmary shelter. So they're not doing that. It's in whatever the old museum building is.
Well, the shelter is there, but they're bringing the crew into a room for medical recheck.
Oh, for that one, yeah.
Yeah. So a comment on that: medical recheck and logistics have been pre-scheduled, timed for your group. The ranger will have that information when he meets you, so that he can plan the base tour appropriately, so you're not standing in line for an hour and a half waiting for your medical recheck. There's a scheduled time.
That's easy.
On that aspect, they are very, very, very tight on weight for adults. There's a little leeway, maybe 5-10 pounds on the youth, but the adults, they are really holding tight on that line. So there is a form out there. I wish I had one with me. I thought I didn't. COVID form that you agree to certain things, and they are looking for every crew member to have signed that form.
Hey, Darrell, do we turn those in like when we get to Welcome Center, or?
You hang on to them. The Welcome Center will ask you if you have them. They can supply blanks if you don't, but it is the ranger who will collect them, and they get turned into the infirmary.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. It's really been very warm and hot here in the mid to upper 90s. A lot of wind, a lot of dust. So in some respects, a mask is kind of good because it keeps the dust out of your face and your lungs. In the backcountry, in the last couple of months, they've had some extreme wind conditions, and there is a ton of blowdown. Some of the crews, depending on the itinerary you're taking, are actually being given bow saws to trim some of the trees that may have fallen down, across the trail.
Wow.
If they're small enough, cut the tree in half and move it out. If it's not, cut the branches off so you could either, go over the top, step over the top without being, encumbered by the branches. They just don't. Philmont is significantly understaffed at this point, and they just don't have the cons crew to be out there and clean all these blowdowns. I mean, they're talking like 2,000 or 3,000 trees are down.
Wow.
And, specifically, I know if anybody is traveling between Hunting Lodge and Cypher's Mine, there are two trails. There's I'll just call it the upper trail, and then the lower trail that wanders along the creek. The upper trail is basically closed. They got blowdown all over that one, so you're going to end up going the lower trail across the creek like 25 times.
We had to do that last year because actually they had some washouts on the higher trail.
Okay.
So we got to do the 25 stream cross.
Right.
Oh, good. I get it. I'll make sure I see all 25 of them for you, Rob, and I'll wave to them as I go down it.
We were glad to get to Cypher's Mine and be in a Adirondack, so it was that was
Carson National Forest is closed. Thereby, the Vol is closed. They've rerouted all of the far north itineraries in the Vol. They've moved the mountain biking camp to about a half-mile north of Metcalf Station. And Jeff, that's where one of your tents went. I'm sure you know that.
Excellent.
So if you were scheduled for mountain biking, it's going to be like about a half-mile north of Metcalf Station, right at the mouth of Cook Canyon. So they've done those rerouting. Minimal rerouting, particularly first day for the far south treks, because there was a small fire, 3,000 acres down south. The Zastro cabin was lost, and some of the starting camps down there are inaccessible, so they've rerouted those. My group was one of my groups was supposed to be at Rayado River, and their starting camp, I can't remember, it was either Backache or Toothache Springs. They were rerouted.
that's where our group went. They were supposed to. They were rerouted to Toothache Springs first night. So yeah,
we're getting rerouted to Backache.
Yeah, so most of those should already be out. Advisors should know about that stuff, but before we got too far into this, Jeff, and wandering as we tend to do now and then, off on tangents, sure. I wanted to cover some of those points that Philmont is looking at. You will unload at the Welcome Center your backpacks. Make a backpack line. The adult or whoever will then take and park the car in the permanent spot. Come back and you'll have your table talk, and you will meet your ranger at that point. If you're coming in a day early, the same process will happen, except someone from logistics will come over to talk to you, and you will officially meet your ranger the following morning on your official day one at the blue tables in front of logistics.
Right.
As somewhere between 8:15 and 8:30, and then they'll take you off from there. I think that's from my little checklist here, that's kind of some of the things that I wanted to cover, from being here and tipping off people who are coming.
Yeah, and that was a very crew advisor like approach to let us wander off trail in the wrong direction for 45 minutes and then speak up and say, hey, before it's too late.
That's right. Hey,
Here's the right
Darrel
idea.
drops his pack and walks with him. So
Right.
we learned that last month when it was just the three of us.
Yep.
Hey, Darrel, I've got crews getting ready for 2023.
Yep.
Of what you just described on changes, how many of those changes do you think will be going forward standing operating procedures, or is this mostly just reacting to conditions on the ground this year, and it could be something completely different next year?
Okay. Taking
Just
off all
opinions.
my green shirts and my personal thing, I think we're going to see indoor masking for maybe a couple of years. That's where I'm coming down on it, and that's the thing that I see happening. Philmont is going to do, the most stringent, safety caution, because you got 20,000 people and you got a small community and all kinds of things can happen, and they want to stay open. They do not need to be shut down by the state or the county or anything else. They're going to do whatever they have to do to keep the doors open. But as far as the rest of the stuff other than masking, I think it's going to stay the same till next year. I think the big improvement has been scheduling med rechecks and logistics. That's worked out real well. The Rangers have been very punctual when we call them and say, hey, Group 608G is here, and they're there, and they're there typically before we get done with the table talk. So
Yeah.
But one of my crews, they met their ranger at 8:15 and they were totally done by 2:00.
That's good.
Oh, that'd be great. Can you make sure I do that, please?
They have added bear boxes in base camp throughout Tent City so that you can store any food or smellables in there, because you get your food on day one, you don't leave on day two, but you have all this trail food that is a big attraction to mini bears or whatever out there. So they've put bear boxes out there. And
Are they big enough for all that food?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, they're the boxes that were there last year, right?
Right. If you were there last year, it's the same green box.
Okay. Yeah, you could squeeze a lot in there.
Yeah. Just don't confuse the green bear box with the brown trash bucket.
Right.
We'll just, if we run out of food, we're just coming to your bread and breakfast and load up, man.
Absolutely.
So Darrel, for those crews that show up a day early, at least in the past, they were able to get some of this stuff done beforehand because of these protocols. And are they able to do anything if they show up a day early?
Yes, they are, and that is why logistics is coming down and talking to the crew, because they know kind of what bandwidth they have and availability. They may take you and do logistics early. The crew advisor typically can go to the registration and take care of the bill ahead of time, which is only that person, not the whole crew. But they will do some of those check-in processes on day zero, if you will, depending upon how the bandwidth. I mean, if you're in there at 8:00, 9:00 in the morning, the day early, they're going to be kind of busy. But if you're showing up at noon, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll say, hey, here's your tent assignment. Go put your gear in the tent and come over to logistics. So it's kind of it's on the fly.
Anything that is different if they show up early and they want to go visit the Scouting Museum or the Villa Philmonte? I'm assuming they're wearing masks there, that sort of thing.
Wear a mask at you work any indoor. So the museum would be masked. The villa would be masked. You go to the museum to make your registration. If you haven't arrived yet and you're coming in the next few weeks, I would call the museum ahead of time and make a reservation. Plenty of time to do that if you arrive early on day 0. There is a Cimarron shuttle. I think it operates every half hour into town, beginning like 10:30 or 11 in the morning, which is free, and they can go do all of that kind of stuff. A lot of the eating places in Cimarron, I'm seeing are closed on Monday and Tuesday. Some are only open through lunch till like 2 o'clock. The Welcome Center has a wall bracket with all the menus from the pizza joint, Burrito Banquet and St. James and all of these, and it lists the hours and the days of operation. So I know one crew was kind of disappointed. They're coming off the trail and they wanted to go to supper because they got a long day coming in the last day, and they wanted to go to supper at the St. James, and they're closed on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday.
So all of those, if anyone wants to check all of that out ahead of time, I'm going to share something with you here as soon as I can get this queued up. Chrome tab. Let's see. There it is. This is a cooperative thing that I put together with the help of Darrel and the representative from the Chamber of Commerce and from Hikers Coffee Company and a variety of other folks out there in Cimarron who have sent me updates. So in this, it's on gearreport.com. It's called Philmont, What to Do in Cimarron, New Mexico. It was updated just a couple days ago. We've got a map that Larry Bearfield drew when he was at the Welcome Center last year, showing where all the different restaurants are. We've got the current shuttle schedule. Melissa is one of the bus drivers there at the ranch. She sent this copy of the bus schedule for this year. And we've got the lodging. See, this is where I wanted to check. I need to add your bed and breakfast on there, Darrel. And then for the restaurants, all of these operating times, everything on here has been checked and updated in the last week and a half or 2 weeks. So that's the most current information that I have on when everything is open and closed. And yeah, I mean, Darrel hit it on the money. Look at that. Lots of Monday closures. Sunday and Monday is pretty common. Very common.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we've got some shopping stuff around there. And then I believe at the bottom, museums and then parks. So a lot of information in this article. If you're digging through there, you find anything that's wrong, please send a note, leave a comment, whatever, on the article. If anyone is out there listening live or in replay and knows of anything that needs corrected or anything that's missing, definitely leave a comment on that article and we'll get that updated. So
yeah, I saw a question on there at the bottom of the screen about gloves for conservation. I do not know what the specific or the current procedure is, but I would err to the side of bring your own gloves because obviously passing around gloves is another way to pass the virus. So
yeah,
be on the safe
I know
side.
last year they told us bring gloves, and then we got there for the cons project. They had the same box of gloves they always have. So
yeah, but I would err on the side of bring your own just in case.
What's the official guidance in the?
I am not aware of that right now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I can probably find out and make a post here tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But a lot of
I threw some gloves in my bag just in case.
Yeah, a lot of the cons people are out doing backcountry maintenance for this blowdown. Some of them are also over at the whatever Calf Canyon fire doing some firefighting. So a big plug out there. If anybody still wants to work at Philmont, they have a lot of openings. The greatest need is in is in the kitchen area, food service and so forth. I know specifically, I checked for a gentleman or a young man. That job pays $13.45 a month, 4 days on, 3 days off. And that's a little higher starting salary because of where it is. And it is the best work time off schedule of any group on the ranch. Typically it's 5-6 days on and 2 days off. So
I've heard great things about the guy that runs the dining hall too. I hear he's a really good person to work for.
Joey Fernandez is phenomenal. He's terrific.
Now we can see Andy. My gosh, what happened?
Just adjusted the camera settings. I was like, it's too dark. I need to brighten that up.
Wow.
So anyways, that's kind of where we're at on that check-in. Everything is going smooth. Even though they're, a little behind with the number of people, the staff is extremely enthusiastic. Okay, it's only the first or second week, and after 2 months, they might not be quite as enthusiastic, but you know how that goes. But yeah, right now things are hopping, and we're loving to see everybody here.
So I see a note. Let's see if I can get back to that. That OA Trail crew was told that they would provide them. Not sure what's being told to regular crews. Oh, it looks like I pasted that in twice, so sorry about that. But,
and I would say to that the OA Trail crew, they would be using the same gloves day in, day out, all day long, and that's probably not an issue, with crews coming through on conservation, sharing them 2 or 3 crews in a day. Conservation is pre-scheduled at a location, should be in the itinerary guidebook as to where your cons project is and the time.
Nice. Okay, and that's part of the stuff that the ranger covers,
right,
as well. As
and due to the dry situation, the ranger will provide to the crew advisor and discuss with the crew any fire evacuation processes. If you are at this camp and I don't know how they're going to notify you with an air raid siren or whatever that there's an emergency. Depending upon where you are at that time, it'll tell you where you need to go to a gathering point for evacuation. And they're really going to be stressing that due to the fire risk out here right now.
Yeah.
Opening campfires are an opening lantern fire.
Yeah.
So
that's probably good.
So Darrel, with so many trees down, are they adjusting their conservation projects for the crews, or just...
I haven't heard of any, no.
Okay.
I have heard that I don't know how far they want this to go, but some people have cut a number of trees on their basic hike, and Con said, okay, that constitutes your conservation project because you're 4 hours late to getting into camp because you had to cut 17 trees to get there.
Yeah.
So, as in life, if you approach the situation in a rational, civilized manner, you probably are going to get a lot of support. But when you come in screaming and hollering that, I'm 3 hours late because I had to do this, that, and that, you're probably not going to see a lot of slack.
Yeah. Okay, so something that we talked about how tight my schedule is going to be with the crew getting there on the train, and the train's been running late, so I may not get to do this. So I'll go ahead and bring it up now. I've got a little time booked to get together with Ashley at the Tooth of Time Traders to shoot a couple quick videos. One, answering questions about the canister fuel, the isobutane fuel. They're getting lots of questions on, can you purchase it? Where can you purchase it? We've addressed that in the group, and I think Ashley answered it. Philip answered, and then directed Ashley to provide some more information. It's already been answered in there. but we're going to try to shoot a quick video for that before I hit the trail. The other thing she wanted to talk about, she said at the Tooth of Time Traders, they are getting a lot of questions about rental backpacks, which they do not handle at the Tooth of Time Trader. She said they try their best to answer the questions to the best of their ability, but that's a different department that does that. So who knows what department deals with rental?
Outfitting services.
There you go. So if people have questions about that before they get there, where would they direct those questions?
To outfitting services, where they get their tents, where they get their food, that would be the place to ask the question. You will be directed to a building, 15 feet away where they will fit you with a pack. And as far as fuel, I had a chance to chat with Ashley. It is available at the base camp, at the Tooth of Time Traders, and white gas and can gas, I don't know, the canisters are available for purchase in the backcountry at any commissary where you pick up food. Yep. In a very emergency basis, a staff camp may have, 1 or 2 canisters and maybe a gallon can of white gas. If you really blow your, your use of fuel.
Right. Yeah, good to know. Thank you for that information. The other thing that she mentioned was about in-store pickup. We're gonna do something about probably shoot a quick video talking about their in-store pickup process. So if folks didn't know, you can order things online at the Tooth of Time Traders, and somewhere in the checkout, I suppose you mark that you'll pick it up in store.
Correct.
So if you weren't aware of that, I've heard people say before, well, I'm just going to order my stuff early, because I know last year they sold out of some things a few weeks into the season. It was late in the season before they got them back in stock, if at all. So I have heard some people suggest if they really want something, go ahead and make that order and just mark it with your pickup date. Is Andy showing off a little, one of those little Ola Camp 1 liter heat exchanger pots?
You mean my just drinking mug?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it might be the same.
That yeah, my gear spidey senses went off. I was like, oh, I see some gear. What is it?
It's easier to drink out of that, which I've been testing, than it is to drink out of this. So that's the other heat exchanger pot that I've been.
That is my size. What's that, like a liter and a half, probably?
The Optimus Terra Express, I think it's like a 2 liter pot.
And that's for coffee, right?
I like
this
that.
This is 1.75 liters.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Just to give you an idea size-wise.
Yep.
I'm curious to see just how efficient that works.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking that Ola Camp pot with me and offering it to my crew if they want to use that as one of their pots, because it's amazing.
Hey, one of the other things is it would not be, they are asking all of the staff, and it would not be probably inappropriate to have a COVID test prior to arrival. I had 2 people drop from my crew who tested positive on Friday, the day we were leaving, and didn't go. So they would have been, whether they were asymptomatic or really had the COVID or not, but they don't run the risk of coming out here, and knowing you're positive, and you could end up quarantined in base camp and may or may not be able to return to your crew.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Yeah, for all of the staff people, we had to have a 3 to 5 day negative test before we arrived, even though I'm fully vaccinated and all of that. So.
Yeah.
Well, they're telling you if I'm right, Darrell, if you're not vaccinated, you can do a test 3 to 5 days out.
Right.
Yeah. So I got to take mine tomorrow. So yay.
Yeah.
I passed mine this morning.
Yeah.
How long did
you're going to get on a train?
Yeah.
How long did you study, Jeff?
All weekend.
Good. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I lost a lot of sleep. I was kind of concerned.
Yeah.
Those
Did you-
traveling on the train, masks are not required on the train
or on airlines.
or on airlines, but it's your choice. My crews, the 6 of us, we voted or whatever, and we decided to wear masks on the train, just one more level of protection.
All right. So let's see. I put in the chat, I put a link out there. This is my shameless plug that I have spun off from the regular Gear Report channel, a Camping Gear Report YouTube page, to because we do so many different things at Gear Report, and the camping stuff was kind of getting lost in the Humvee stuff and the firearms reviews and the sailing stuff. So now we have a separate channel, and I'm focusing just on Philmont stuff there for now. So I did drop a link out there in hopes that someone might go check it out. And if you think it looks like something that you would enjoy seeing that content, maybe give a subscribe or watch some of the videos or something. So, only if you think you'd like it. Really doesn't help anyone to go just give a sympathy, subscribe. If you're not going to like it, never come back. It's really not going to help. So, but if it looks cool.
If you have not completed your travel arrangements, please do. They use those numbers to populate, food, meals, scheduling of logistics and so forth. We had a crew today who showed up and they said, yeah, we're a day early. And the Gateway said they were going to be here tomorrow. So we're scrambling for 10 assignments and all kinds of things. It would be better to tell us you're going to be here a day early and come late than come early and not know it.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So Darrel, what was for dinner tonight in the dining hall?
Darrel doesn't eat with the commoners.
I don't know. I had a chocolate shake and a cheeseburger at the Creamy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what was in the dining hall.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you guys.
So I'm going to tell you a tip for people as you're headed to base camp, and this is something that I actually published a quick video on today. It was my test to make sure that the live streaming would work before we did this broadcast this evening, and it's about charging devices in base camp, because we all know that you used to be able to just drop stuff in the crew advisors lounge, and they don't want you to do that anymore.
It is back.
Security.
It is back. The advisors lounge is open. Coffee at 5:30, and the charging stations are there.
But they don't.
That was a short-lived video
phone,
there,
right?
Jeff.
But they don't want you to leave your phone. You can plug it in and sit with it, but they don't want you to walk away and come back later, right?
Well, that's your choice. The Scout is trustworthy, but we weren't going there.
Right. So for the last couple times I've been out there, they've had signs up saying, "Don't leave your phone," and then the next sign says, "No, seriously, don't leave your phone." Yeah. So anyhow, what I recommend to people is, if you don't want to be bothered with going to security to check your phone in, or you don't want to sit and babysit devices that are charging in a crew advisor's lounge, just bring some battery packs. So I go into more detail there in that video if anyone wants to check that out. And but that's what I did last time. Before I went and charged things, it was such a pain. It took a lot of time walking back and forth to check on and charge devices. Just bring a big battery pack, plug your stuff in your tent. You don't have to worry about any of that. So I just spoiled the video. That's pretty much what it says. But it also talks about how to charge your stuff in the backcountry as well. So you may want to watch it if that's interesting to you.
Does it talk about loose shoelaces on the trail? Or
No. I've honestly been surprised at how much aggressive hate I've gotten for talking about not tying my shoes. And people are like, "That's the worst advice I've ever heard in my life." And You're going to get blisters. I'm like, no, I got blisters before I started doing this. I haven't got blisters since I've started doing this. Been doing it for years, but whatever, just
Well,
like everything else.
You're,
If it's
you're,
interesting to you, try it on your shakedowns, try it on some recreational hikes. If it works on the recreational hikes, try it on some shakedowns. If that works and you feel good about it and you want to do it at Philmont, that's up to you.
Yeah, especially with your feet, some of that stuff is just so personal. You got to try it out, and we can give suggestions and what works for us. But until you get out there and hike a few dozen miles in whatever situation you're thinking might work for you, you won't know if it works or not. So if somebody has something that really works for them, I have a hard time really telling them no, other than if it's just something that isn't safe at all. But if you've been doing that for years and it works and it's better than everything else that you found, then more power to you.
Plus, it apparently makes Scott uncomfortable from the faces he's making, and that entertains me.
That's what my wife tells me. I make faces. I don't get it. I don't get it.
She's making it up, right?
She's making it up. That's right.
Yeah.
Jeff, you have those Velcro shoes, though, right? Isn't that what you use?
Not yet. I should get some. Now, I literally leave my shoes so loose that I slip them on, slip them off. Don't have to tie them. Don't have to Velcro them. Nothing. But you know what I'm trying this year? Show of hands. Who's tried gaiters? Like not big gaiters, but just like the little running shoe type gaiters.
Yeah. Wore them to Philmont last time.
I've never done that before. And I just got a set. I'm going to try those.
You will like them. It'll keep all of that. I call it scree, the little dust and dirt and small pebbles. It'll keep it out. And your socks will stay a lot cleaner also.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to. I had a routine. The guy that generally hiked behind me last year was like, I don't know how you do it. You're walking mid stride, you take a shoe off, shake it out, put it back on before it's on the ground again. Because they're so loose, I can do that. Just off, shake, put it back on, and boom, take the next step. But I had to get quick at it because there was always crap in my shoes, or trail trash in my shoes. I didn't make anyone mad enough that I actually had crap in my shoes, but who knows? It'll probably happen this year. It's bound to happen eventually.
One of the most popular brand names are
there you go.
Are Dirty Girls or something like that.
Yep, Dirty Girl Gators, right? That's what I'm wearing in this picture.
Yep,
cool. Yeah, I wear the Ultra shoes, so I got the Ultra running gaiters, whatever they call them.
If you watch these Philmont videos, you would know.
I just wear long pants, and that takes care of what not needing gaiters. I mean, end of story. Long pants, no gaiters.
You're just a bizarre individual, Sal.
Thank you.
And boots. And boots.
And boots.
And
I have boots and long pants. I got no need for gaiters.
Sal is a true throwback.
That's right.
Yes, I am.
Maybe a strip of duct tape on your heel of your foot. You're good.
Yep.
See, you can wear them with long pants, no problem. You can wear them with shorts. You can wear them with long pants. They're good for any occasion.
So what I will tell you is Rangers wear long pants. And they don't just wear long pants. They wear like those, what are they called? Arbor wear or something? Yep. The super heavy ones?
Yeah, those are nice too. I got a pair.
I think they're crazy. But I get them. They're out in the backcountry.
Those are my scout pants. Those are what I wear for. I got a pair of those for
scout. Those are my scout pants.
Okay. Hey.
Boom, just like that. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I already packed mine. I'm not going to get them out, but yeah, those look pretty good. So that's one thing I'm testing this year. I got a new. Did anyone else get any cool new gear for a trek this year?
Not for this year.
Coming up?
Maybe next year.
So did you get that pot like
a week ago?
I don't want to ask, but I mentioned it recently. And,
you did,
and I was like,
that's where both of these things came from, was that discussion. And I thought, I really do want to look at, and we're going in 23, so now's the time to be guessing and figuring and researching and testing and trying things out. So I thought I'd put them through the works this summer and see if these might be something.
If you do some reviews on those, I would love to publish them. I think they would complement some of that stuff that I've been talking about. So Anyone else got anything cool they want to talk about?
No new
Oh,
gear.
go
I'm
ahead,
just
Scott.
taking all my old stuff since I'm the old person. Don't want to change. I'm taking all my old stuff. Nothing
Okay.
new. Sorry.
So
My boots and my long pants.
is that going to be a retro trek?
I would
Yeah.
love to do a retro trek.
I found on Amazon a little larger than a cell phone charger block, a rechargeable air pump to blow up my air mattress.
I actually have one of those in my
I
bag.
do too. I'll go downstairs
don't-
to get it in a second.
I don't think I'm going to carry it on the trail. I am definitely going to use it in base camp
Yeah, and
because I'll blow up my pad to sleep on the bed there.
It's
Yep.
got like
Although
6
I
or
may
7
not.
adapters, so it kind of fits all
Yep.
the
Yeah.
areas.
Yep.
And
Yeah, and it blows up the pad. So here's the reason I got it. Number one, if I'm not backpacking, it's nice to not have to mess with it, to just hook it up and let it go and not blow in it. But blowing hot, moist air into a sleeping pad for day after day after day, you can get some kind of funk growing inside the pad. And that worries me. And I don't know if it's worth the 6 or 7 ounces that it weighs to carry it.
Yeah.
But it could go on the
And
trail with me. I
I
haven't
think it's
decided.
around 26, 27 bucks on Amazon.
Yeah, I just got one. A company on Amazon sent me one to review like 2-3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I took it. I took my scouts to the Sea Scout Academy, and I used it there, and was like, "Oh my goodness!" I didn't have to sit there and blow in this pad 13 times to get it blown up. I just plugged it in and pushed a button, and that was
And
awesome.
when you're at 9,000 feet at the base of Phillips, you're breathing pretty darn hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, cool. And I may actually try a solar panel again. I haven't done a solar panel in a few years. And I've got one that weighs like 8 ounces. And I'm like, yeah,
Who are you? I feel like I
Maybe
don't even know you,
worthwhile.
anymore, Jeff.
I know.
And,
See, the
Next,
thing
you're gonna
is,
tell me you're bringing a chair.
I want solar to work so bad. And I want the technology to evolve to the point that it is a very viable option. I'm going to be in the South Country and under tree cover most of the time. So I may end up just taking 2 10K battery packs instead of 1 battery pack and that solar panel. I don't know, but you'd think I'd know by now, but I'll decide last minute. Like when we're
other thing
putting
that,
stuff in the crew locker, I'll be like, no, wait a second. Let me get this out of my bag and clip it onto my pack. Yeah.
the other thing I did is last year ditched my sleeping bag for a quilt.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that last year also.
Yep. Are
And
most
this
people
year-
using their phones on airplane mode for photos or a GoPro? Or
That's
something
what
like
I
that?
hear and what I see. And I hate that
Yeah.
because we had, and this is going to sound terrible. We had 6 or 7 very responsible people who didn't have a problem at all with that last year. And then one kid that played Jetpack Joyride 8 hours a day in the backcountry. And it was funny that his dad actually complained once or twice, why do you keep doing that? And I said, dude, you keep charging his phone for him. I think I know how to stop this. Well, but he's using it to take notes and take pictures. Like, yeah, okay.
We'll do that for him. I think we had 2 adults maybe 3 that brought cameras last time, and those were the only people that had phones. I brought a camera. I'll bring a GoPro next time and have my phone, but I don't think there's really that big of a need to have it in the backcountry. I mean, we're trying to take pictures on purpose for the group of everybody doing different activities and whatnot, so we can share those all later. And there were hundreds. I think we just put a big folder together online and dump everything into it, and everybody can just pick and choose what they want and take it. So that worked out pretty well for us.
So I'm going to interrupt for a second to say, let's make a last call for any questions or comments out there in the chat. Please go ahead and get those in now. and we're going to start wrapping up. We still have a few things to talk about here, but sorry to interrupt. Darrel, I think you were starting.
No, I would say at least one cell phone in the crew in the backcountry, for emergency situations. Leave it turned off. Not sure if you'll have cell service when you have the emergency, but if you do, it's a great help.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question, something that is in my bag for base camp. It's actually, I have a separate bag. I have my carry-on bag with my laptop and food and toiletries and stuff for the train. I have my other bag for my backpack and base camp stuff. But I have a third bag that has stuff that I want to present to the crew and say, would the crew like to use any of this? And something, a company just sent me a little pulse oximeter, so you can check the blood saturation and pulse levels by putting the little sensor, clipping it on someone's finger. Is that something? And it weighs like 3.5 ounces. It's very light. It's got its own battery that should last more than the Trek. Should we add that to the crew med kit?
It won't hurt. I have one in my crew med kit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ever use it?
I'll let you know this after I get back.
So it's the first time you've had
First
one?
time. Okay.
Yeah, first time.
Okay.
Not last year, year before, I had an adult go down with altitude sickness. I said, man, it'd be nice to have one of these things. That way I could test them.
Yeah.
So when I got COVID, I had to get one. So I just kept it. And now it's in my first aid kit. So I will take it with me this year. And I will probably play with it. If nobody gets altitude sickness, I'll play with it and see how it works, like on top of Phillips, just for giggles and kicks.
I'm kind of thinking that way as well. I think I'm going to, even if the crew doesn't want it, I think I'll carry it just so I can monitor myself. I've actually had altitude sickness issues, and I'm a little concerned that we're going to come in so late without having a little extra acclimation time.
Yeah.
Hopefully the ride there on the train will be a gradual acclimation, but I'm a little concerned.
Just like my airline flight will give me gradual altitude acclimation.
Tammy makes a good point in chat. Those that are taking cell phones, make sure it really gets in your pocket. Otherwise, you're losing it, and you aren't ever going to find it.
Yeah, especially up in the bayou.
Yeah, Find My iPhone doesn't work so good in the middle of the Vale.
Yeah,
there's a digital camera somewhere on Baldy that has about 200 pictures of mine that I lost about 6 or 7 years ago. But I still go into Lost and Found and say, hey, you found a camera? Well, when did you lose it? Oh, 2014.
Right.
So
if you would have put your crew number on it, you probably would have got it back by now.
Well, I did. I didn't have my crew number, but I had my name on it, name and address.
Oh,
Name, address, and phone number. But it's probably in one of those rock crevices, and it'll never be found.
So that occupied a lot of my time today in prepping. Like, I already have my pack pretty well sorted out. And literally what I have done is watch when I got back last year, the day I got back, I took my pack, the bag that has my pack in it, my roller bag, took it out, set the camera up. And as I unpacked everything out of it, talked about what it was, how it worked, where I store it in the pack while we're hiking. I've been rewatching that to be sure I don't forget anything. And there are a couple comments about, yes, this was good. I'd rather do something different. That's been fantastic for me to help refine what I'm taking. But one of the things I mentioned in the video is I have written my expedition number on pretty much everything that I care if I get it back or not. So I've spent a good bit of time today wearing out a Sharpie, going through, marking out 618A1 from last year and writing 617S4 for this year. Okay. Man, Rob's internet keeps dumping him from the screen. I don't know if anyone else.
Hey, Jeff, what itinerary are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing 12/7. Okay. So, and I actually just sent a copy of that to the printer, so I will have that. Actually, I think I'm going to send another one. So I'll have one to have in my carry-on bag and then one to have in my in a little Ziploc in my backpack as well. But that one, so interesting. You guys were talking about reroutes, and the first camp is Line and Craig's, and I thought that those were close enough to this year's fire area that touched that kind of southwest corner of the ranch that they may be rerouted. And I mentioned it to the senior crew advisor, and he called and they said, apparently they were polite about it, but they said, if your trek changed, we would have let you know.
Yeah, because the only thing would have changed is the south more towards Zastro and Rail River.
Yeah, it's really, the fire is really more southeast than southwest.
Yeah, so we start at the Zastro trailhead, and I know that's not the same as Zastro Camp, but I thought, yeah, maybe that's, I think we're going to be real close to where it burned, but
Yeah,
apparently
you will be.
nothing,
You will be.
nothing
You will be.
on our route was actually in the burn, apparently.
If you go to, where do you go? Go to the, yeah, Sal showed me this. If you go back to the guidebook to itinerary and where you would normally choose your treks, and they list them all at the bottom, if 12.7 has been modified, it'll show 12.7F, and it will show you the camps that have been changed. Or it won't show you which one has been changed. You're going to have to compare, look at them and say day 1, day 2.
I'm doing it right now. Hold on.
So day
Well,
7.
and I've got it open as well. Where is it that you say you see that?
You got to go in the gateway.
You got to go into the gateway. And Jeff, I don't think you have access to that.
What trek is it? What
It's
trek
only
is
the
it?
crew advisors.
Yeah,
What
I
trek
thought you meant the itinerary guidebook.
No, what trek is it?
12.7.
12.7, no change.
Yeah, and they said, and that's what they told him was no
Yeah,
changes. So, yeah,
No change. I
that's
just checked.
awesome. All right, so let me look if we've had any more questions come in here. Oh, we did get a few. All right, let me copy them over. I'm going to have to try to figure out at some point how we can get the Facebook messages to display in our group chat so that we see them a little easier. So here's one. What's in your base camp bag? Who wants to talk about that?
Base camp bag. Soap and shampoo for when you come off the trail, maybe a towel, change of clothes, laundry detergent, going home clothes. That's about it.
It's basically your travel bag.
Your travel bag.
Yeah.
It's your travel bag, what you're going to travel with. I mean, stuff you're not going to take on the trail. So your base camp bag is a towel to take a shower with, shampoo and deodorant, any of that stuff. That's it. That's your base bag.
I'm really glad that question was asked because you mentioned laundry detergent. And every time I'm standing there feeding quarters in the machine to get the little box of detergent out thinking, why didn't I just bring some detergent? So maybe I'll actually remember to go grab some after we get done.
Well, either that or grab 3 or 4 pods. Not the powder detergent, but the pod, and 5 or 6 dryer sheets. The laundry is there. I think the washer is up to a whole $1 for a load, and it's 25 cents for 10 minutes in the dryer. Typically, you'll use 2, maybe 3 dryer cycles, depending upon how heavy you load it, and the heaviness of the fabric and so forth.
I have actually gotten to where I'll run it once to get the bulk of the water out and then go kind of hang stuff up in my tent.
Conversely, you can just bring a
the
trash
tires are
bag
so
and
crowded.
throw everything in the trash when you get off the trail too. That's an option too.
You clearly don't like TSA agents because they're the ones who would open it and be harmed.
Oh, I mean, chunk it at base camp. Don't bring
Burn it.
Yeah, burn it.
You know, we had a young man who did laundry at home prior to our departure, and when it came time to leave, the dryer hadn't fully finished, so he stuffed his clothes in a plastic bag, put it in his backpack on Friday evening, and did not open it up until Sunday morning. It was a little ripe.
Yeah, we'll try not to do that. All right, so good question and good feedback on the base camp bag. I've been frantically copying and pasting out of the Facebook chat into here. So let's go on to the next one.
Sal? At Home Depot.
Oh,
Yeah, I
like
saw that.
a cord collector thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a cord clamp, and we have a duffel bag that we put our backpacks in. And if you cinch the top down, you can put that cable clamp around it and keep it tight. And it's pretty TSA friendly. They can just push a button and open it.
Yeah.
Probably go get one tomorrow and try it out, as opposed to the
Zip tie.
zip tie. Hey,
Yeah,
Rob's back.
so-
Rob's back. Yeah, Rob's
Yeah,
back.
for now.
Bye, Rob. See you later.
Yeah, I keep getting knocked off. I don't know. I know it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so
always leave them
I'll,
wanting more, Rob. Always leave them wanting more.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I gotta learn from that. So I'm trying to get to the article that Scott wrote about preparing for altitude. We got a couple of questions and comments that relate to altitude and how bad altitude is going to hit you. And I know personally, I will say that I don't even know how to prepare someone for that because it seems to be incredibly individual driven. You know, some people get floored by it and some people don't notice it at all. So
The big thing is hydration.
Yeah. Yep. Ahead of time, before you get on the train, before you get on the plane, days in advance, be hydrating, be getting your electrolytes, all of that stuff just helps. The longer you have to acclimate, obviously makes a difference too. But you know, we had a story of one dad. He's been out there 3 different times, and you know, 2 trips, no problem, 0. And then the middle trip, he got within about 100 yards of the peak at Baldy and had to turn around and go back down because he was just getting hammered by symptoms. So he just had to bail, and he was that close, but just you know, and it just kind of hits randomly. So that's the way it goes sometimes.
That's interesting because Baldy's usually several days into your trek.
Yep.
That he had not acclimated by that point.
Yep.
Yeah. By design, you won't summit Baldy within the first 3 days.
Yeah.
So I pulled up Scott's article here so you can see Flatlander's Guide to Altitude Sickness while backpacking at Philmont. Even if you're not from a flatland area, there's some really good advice in there to help people set themselves up for success, even though there is this kind of random element of are you going to get hit with it or not? You know, I had in 2017, I got hit really hard, like to the point that I was kind of mumbling, having trouble putting sentences together as we were going up the side from Stockade Ridge up the side towards the Tooth. There's a really steep scramble back there. And partway up that, we took a break and I turned the camera on. I watched it back and was like, wow, I was worse off than I thought I was. I sounded drunk, really. Which, I mean, more so than normal. So
You can even be kind of asymptomatic if there's such a thing for altitude sickness in that the way it presents itself, at least in me in the past, is I just lose my appetite. And I could hike for days on not eating a lot. I have to force myself to eat. And it goes away after a while. But,
yeah.
So it presents itself quite differently, just depending. It's very random.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a part of the altitude. I've noticed that quite a bit in treks out west, you know, not even to Philmont, just other places. you're at altitude 11,000, 12,000 feet for a period of time, and maybe not even that much, 8,000, 10,000. Appetite goes away. You feel like you're hydrated when you're not, so there's all these different things that factor into potentially making it worse if you're not forcing yourself to drink, forcing yourself to eat some snacks from time to time, all that sort of stuff. So it'll sneak up on you.
There's also just plain regular aspirin will help a lot too, because that'll dilate the blood vessels, getting more oxygen moving through. And there is a prescription drug that you can talk to your doctor about called Diamox, which taken like a day or two before you leave for 2 or 3 days will help you a lot.
Yeah.
And don't order the bean burrito in Raton before you head up higher elevations either. So just saying.
Is that a scientific thing?
Or the bean burrito at the snack bar at base camp.
That's right.
Before your first day.
That's right.
But if you're at the burrito banquet,
yeah, you'll sleep warm and cozy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's something else that I'm going to take with me that I've never taken before. Wonder if I have one that I can reach.
Common sense.
No.
You're going to take Imodium and.
No, I'm going to cheat and take one of these. One of these little. You rip it open, and when it hits oxygen, the little packet warms up. So I have had on the last 2 treks, I've only had one night where I got a little chilly on each of those treks. And if that happens, I figure if I have 1 or 2, these weigh like an ounce or less, one of those tucked in the sleeping bag, I won't have to worry about it. So I'm going to try that. I don't know. Good plan, bad plan, beats me, but I'm going to try it.
Is it smellable?
Hot water and an Nalgene will do the same.
Yeah, but that's a pain to prepare the Nalgene with hot water and all that. This, I just have to rip it. I just have to rip it open as I destroy my microphone. There we go. Anyhow, but yeah, that's something else I'm going to try that I've never done before, because I tend to be, I'd rather carry a little less on the sleeping bag side and then wear, like my sleep clothes are long underwear. So then in an emergency, it's easier to put the long underwear on than it would be to wrap up in the sleeping bag.
The other thing would be a bag liner. That'll add about 4 or 5 degrees too.
Yeah. Yep.
Or more. Yep.
Also keep the sleeping bag a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard some people say that they don't, sleep clothes. That's stupid. I'm not doing that. But honestly, it keeps my bag, my quilt from getting too nasty. And that's really the big reason I do it.
I do the same for the exact same reason. The down is a pain to wash, and if you can keep it oil free longer, it just works better. So I'm the same thing.
Oh, how did this happen? We've been at this an hour and 43 minutes. I said this is going to be a short one because I have to get to bed early so I can get up and go get on the train tomorrow. And we've been an hour and 43 minutes. Thank you, everyone on the panel. It's been a great discussion. Thank you for everyone who's participated and left comments. Do you have any words of wisdom, parting, last minute? Oh, I got to tell people this one last thing before they go hit the trail. Anything from anyone?
Nope, I'm good. See everybody on the trail.
Ask your crew leader.
Rob has spent all his time leaving us and coming back. He hadn't got to say much. Do you have anything you want to contribute while you're here?
Yes. Take your chair and your boots.
I'm sorry, I did that one.
He did that up there. You got set up.
Right then,
you got set up. Jeff, you might have to let the stream run for like an extra hour and just leave Rob on by himself so that he can catch up and get like. I feel like we shortchanged him a little bit, so we can all leave, but just leave it on and let Rob just hang out.
Double my pay, and it'd be okay. Yeah, it's all right.
Checks in the mail,
just like that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, you were saying something before I messed with you.
Chair and boots. That's it.
I should have left you off. All right, 6:17. If you're going to be out there, if you see me at all,
Go the other
Yeah,
direction.
please don't throw
Run.
things at me. All
I
right.
accidentally
I am-
ran into him in the staff or the advisor's cabin, and I couldn't get out, and it just so
Yeah,
watch,
it happens.
watch yourself.
So
Yeah.
I
If you're
will
out
ask.
there, if you're out there 620, look for me, South Country. Truck 1228.
Yeah, we're 28. I thought you said 20A. Is that it?
28.
28.
28.
Oh, Trek 28.
Trek
But you're a
20.
620.
620 crew.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, maybe we'll bump into each other out there. If so, I may ask if I can borrow your chair.
No.
No, no.
But I wouldn't count
No.
on it. Anyhow,
I'll make you put boots on
oh my goodness.
and tie them.
Trade him for his poncho.
Oh, that's something else I wanted to mention. If you want privacy on the raised toilets that don't have walls around them, like you're not a red roof and you've only got, what are they called? Just the box with the toilet seat in the top. You know what I'm talking about?
Bombardier or pilot to co-pilot.
Whatever they are, but there's no walls. Like you go to Tooth Ridge Camp and there's campsites everywhere, and then these
You're up on the
crackers sitting
You're up
right
on the
there.
hill. I did that, and I
Yes.
waved at everybody.
And I went and sat on it, knowing that there were 3 female crews right around there, but I had no choice. I had to go. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to get my poncho out. I had a built-in privacy shelter. So I would say crews should take a poncho, even if it's the $1 plastic poncho, get the opaque one that you can't see through, take it purely as a privacy screen. If you're in that situation where like you're a guy crew and there's female crews around and someone's got to use the crapper that's out in the open, you can put that on and not expose yourself and not have any YPT issues, or at least not from that. That's my last little bit of suggestion there.
Yeah,
Don't take it as your rain gear. Take it purely as a little 1 ounce privacy shield.
Right. It becomes
Don't bring it back with any remnants on it. You know.
yeah, it becomes a fume funnel.
It was a smellable, I think. Right?
It could. Yeah. Okay. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Thank you so much to the panel. Thanks to all the commenters. And all right, how do we do this? I think it's time to shut it down. Is anyone not ready?